here. So hold on a second. Good morning. Good morning. It is the third day of December 2022, just past 8 o'clock here in the Pacific time zone. I am here. I'm Brian, Rabbi. Glad you're here. I'm waving to the people.
Hi, Brian.
Hi, Aaron. Here are the people. There they are. Hi, people. We have people all over, and I'm glad you guys are all there. And thank you for joining. Let me get to back to the screen. There we are. Good morning, everyone. This is as usual. I ask you to keep your microphones unmuted so that you can talk and be involved. I want to keep this interactive, but there are some things that I do want to get to, so it's interactive to a point. I want to start us with a lot of you. I'm big into that the language we use, that our thinking is affected. Our thinking is often in language, and if we can change the language that we use, we can change the way that we think, and it's all related. And you might remember one of my favorite old exercises. One of my favorite little ones goes like this, was that instead of saying I have to undo the dishwasher, you say, instead of that, you say I get to. And when you say I get to undo the dishwasher instead of I have to undo the dishwasher, it changes your outlook about it some. And there are ways of saying I have to undo the dishwasher that can contain gratitude as well, but this is a simple word substitution. And I found some five ones. I found 5 other examples of changing words that I wanted to share with you. Here's the first one and there are going to be 5 of them. This one's about falling behind. And it says this: instead of saying I'm falling behind in life, say I've started saying societal norms keep hijacking me today.
Oh.
And I'm going to give you a choice of 4 others. That's one. Here's one that says, instead of saying I'm so stressed, I've started saying I need to prioritize rest.
Oh, love that.
And you're going to get to keep any one of these phrases as a little gift. Instead of saying I haven't got time, I've started to say I'm experiencing a lot of inner urgency today. Now, before we go on, I just want to make sure that we're following with the program here. Can you imagine yourself saying I'm experiencing a lot of inner urgency today?
No.
I consider.
Can you imagine yourself today, instead of saying I'm in a rush, saying I'm experiencing a lot of inner urgency today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. A little bit long, but
what's that change? It's the same thing, but all of a sudden something's a little bit different.
Well,
I can't see
the difference.
I'm zoomed. Alex, can I Here, I'm going to unspotlight myself so I can see all of you.
You slowed yourself down.
Say it again, Jack.
You slowed yourself down.
It's slowing yourself down. Instead of saying I haven't got any time, saying I'm experiencing inner urgency. It's that we're somewhat a little detached from it. Here's another one, similar idea. Instead of saying I'm being so lazy, I've started saying my body is tired today.
Well, I like that one.
Okay, good. I got one more for you to pick from, and then we're going to make our own. And the last one is, instead of saying it's not good enough, I've started saying my inner perfectionist is noisy today.
Oh, yeah. My inner perfectionist is always noisy.
Well, it's good because it makes you own your own feelings and thoughts about your situations.
It's
so it gives you more control.
And it gives you the inner question of, do I really need it to be this way?
Yes.
It shakes it up a little bit. So instead of it just being the thought that you normally think, and you think it without question. There's a great quote from Krishnamurti that says, don't believe everything you think.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is that instead of saying it's not good enough, I'm having that right now, right? I'm running a service and I'm thinking, is this going to be good enough? But instead of thinking that, I can think, well, my inner perfectionist is noisy today.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Anyone object to this wordplay of changing the words around?
Heck no.
No.
So I'll tell you an example of this, and we'll come back to these quotes. Is my friend CB told me a few very wise things. First, little public service announcement here. If you're finding you have a hard time with people's pronouns, and you have this friend's he, her, him, this friend's she, her, and then you have a few non-binary friends who are they, them. Hold on, we've got thank you, Charlene, for muting yourself. One of the two brilliant things my friend CB said was, what if we started to refer to all of our friends, all of the people we know, as they, them? Then when we come to the gender non-binary person, we're in the practice of saying they, them for singular beings. And it's not trying to shift the tracks just for that one or just for those three or however many people you have in your life. But that you're practicing all the time, you're practicing using they, them pronouns for everyone, because they, them can apply for everyone. So that was one of the things that my friend CB said. The other thing CB said, which here's this is going to hit in the instead of sayings, but give me a second to get there. CB said this. CB said, it's winter. Not for everyone, because I know Azera is on a different continent and it's different than where. But if you're in North America or you're north of the equator, it's winter time. And as it's winter time, CB says, our bodies naturally want to slow down. Our bodies are synced with the natural world, where in the summer it's work, where in the fall it's harvest and gathering, and then in the winter our bodies naturally want to say, slow down. That's why we gathered all the nuts in the harvest time. This is so that we can slow down and not work so hard. That this is winter time. This is a time for not doing. And what CB said to me was that when we're trying to force ourselves to be as productive in a season when our bodies are not scheduled to be productive, is we're causing self-harm. That we're pushing ourselves to be something in a season where this is not the time for us to be that. I had a way of tying this all together, so hold on. Instead of saying, I'm being lazy right now, I mean, I can tell you, the work that I got done for Religion Outside the Box Monday to Friday last week, I could have, and maybe I should have, been able to get maybe a project. I should have been working at a faster clip, but I couldn't get myself there, and I didn't want to push myself. And so you know what? I didn't do the hard push, super productive that I normally do. And I gave myself permission to have a little bit of an easier roll at it. And I say, you know what? It's okay. I'm not going to get everything done this week that I could. I'm going to take it a little. Anyone else have this wintertime not wanting to work? Who's working at full capacity right now? Let's see your hands.
Oh, full capacity? No.
Full capacity right now? Look at that.
What is full capacity?
Yeah. Not many of us. And then let me ask you, and I think I know the answer how this one's going to go, is how many of you would forgive the other people on the screen for not working at full capacity right now?
Yeah.
And then how many of you, keep your hands up, know at least on paper that you deserve the same grace that they do? I'm not saying that you can do it. I'm just saying we could. So instead of saying I'm being lazy right now in winter, instead I've started saying it's winter. I'm not going to work that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else willing to try that phrase? Instead of saying I'm
Yeah.
not working
Enough.
hard enough, I'm willing to say it's winter and I don't want to, I'm not going to work that hard.
And it's
It's
okay.
winter hibernating today.
Yeah. Go ahead, Betsy.
It's okay to let my Christmas tree sit here undecorated for a few days until I get enough gumption to get around to decorating.
Yeah. Instead of saying I'm not good enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm going to say it's okay. Go ahead, Aaron. You were going to say the same, Ron. I love
the idea of enough, to say I'm doing enough. In winter, I'm doing enough. That means you don't have to be 100% that you would some other time.
Great.
Say right now, enough. I'm doing enough.
I'm doing enough
You need
right
to
now.
it's decide what's appropriate for your life. But I think the whole thing in Passover Dayenu, enough.
Yeah, enough. Instead of saying I'm being so lazy, I'm starting to say my body is tired. It's winter, for God's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask now for an altar call. I'm not really sure what that phrase really means, and I might be getting myself in religious hot water by using a phrase that's not mine. But can I hear from a few other people? I'm not, just own it. Own it. I'm not going to work that hard. It's winter. I'm going to take it easy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Emily. Would you?
I'll do it. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, I'll take that. That's fantastic. Anyone else want in, Bob?
Yeah, there are some people, like the people that take care of the snow plows and things like that, that come winter time, they are very busy.
Right.
Okay, you're not operating a snow plow, I think is the thing you're getting to.
Well, I've never done that, but it might be fun.
Okay, so with the exception of snow plow operators, the rest of you willing to take it easy on yourselves this winter time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's fantastic. Good job, team. I'm going to put these away for a second. I have this note I was going to start with. I had a realization. I was talking to someone, and I said, I'm on this planet that's spinning around, and this whole planet that's spinning around is orbiting a sun, and I don't particularly like spinny rides. Okay, everyone, thank you to Rags for laughing out loud at the proper time.
Ron, always on a spinny ride.
I'm going to put that one down as a rabbi moment of I don't like spinny rides. I thought that was very clever. Well,
I think it's clever.
oh, thank you all very much.
Using it right now.
Okay, so let's go back to instead of sayings. Instead of saying, I shouldn't have done that thing. Okay, so here's where the topic is going to go. Let me show you how we're going to do this today.
Wish.
Excuse me a second. Wrong button. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. There is an interesting, this is what I have been thinking about this whole week. And I've been thinking about this whole week, and I'll tell you what started it. What started it was before Thanksgiving, no names, but someone with whom I often play chess, who you might know. I'm not saying anyone. Gave me this game to play on my phone. Said, I really think you're going to enjoy this game. And I started playing. It's called Baba Is You. It's a crazy, amazing, fun logic puzzle game. And I started playing it, and I was really enjoying playing it until I went to play chess with this certain person. And they said, did you notice when you get to the game's save spot that it keeps track of how many hours you've been playing?
Oh.
And I said, no, I didn't notice that. And at that moment, I realized I had been playing the game for over 8 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh my God. I can't believe I have wasted 8 hours rearranging little pixels in a game. 8 hours, for God's sakes. I can't believe I've spent 8 hours playing this game. Show of hands, acknowledgement. How many of you have had this kind of thing where you realize, oh my God, what have I done?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
what you needed at the time. Maybe your brain needed a bit of a break so that you could then later
Oh, Maria.
focus better.
Oh, Maria. Oh, Maria.
Life's a game.
Wait, hold on. So we had a little bit of a practice round on this discussion on Tuesday at the open office hours. And then there was another part of this discussion on Wednesday in the service planning group. The Tuesday group, unfortunately, I had a dental procedure earlier in the morning. I have no memory of what the heck we talked about in the Tuesday group.
And it was awesome.
Oh, probably solves the problems of the world.
Recorded it.
Sadly, it was not recorded. I wish
I
that
don't
it
know
was.
what we talked about really, but I don't feel so. Anyway, Maria, you said something on Wednesday about this, and I was hoping to talk with you a little bit, Maria, about this today, which was, yes, maybe it's what I needed. Maybe it's what I needed, and that can get me towards forgiveness. But I happen to know because you said something, Maria, about yourself and locking a door.
Yeah. I know. Like,
Can you would you feel comfortable to divulge to people your moment of realizing you had played a game for 8 hours? It's not playing a game for 8 hours. You had your own circumstance. Can you tell the people a little moment about what you did?
I can. Usually my OCD serves me very well in checking things in the house. I have routines that I do. But my mother and I we always do errands on Wednesday mornings, and we've got a set routine. We usually take my car. We ended up taking her car, which threw me off. And we came home to discover that I had not locked the front door. And nothing happened. Nothing bad happened, but I felt horrible about it. I have apologized multiple times for it because I have not yet forgiven myself.
Right, and this is what is gotten to me was that we feel there's this default setting, I don't know how else to call it, towards guilt, and there's a more of a magnetic pull towards this guilt thing than it is towards this thing called forgiveness.
Right.
And I've spent all week trying to sort this out as to why. Why would it be that we are often easier to hold ourselves in this place of, oh my God, I played for 8 hours. Now I've come to realize it was Thanksgiving weekend and it's winter.
Yeah.
Maybe I needed 8 hours of mind-numbing Sokoban kind of game. And I've come to the forgiveness part, but the guilt part was the first reaction, and I held on to it. Whoever it was I was playing chess with could tell you that every few minutes I would go, oh my God, I played the game for 8 hours. And I couldn't let go. I just couldn't let go of it until I realized what it was I was doing. And I think that's a large piece of it, is why do we get attracted? Why are we stuck in this stance instead of that stance? And I think the reason is because we don't even know that we're in this one. And once it's made conscious, let's say you're playing chess and the other person says, hey, what do you say, friend? You just forgive yourself for that. it breaks the spell and I can get out of it. Just for instance, if you were playing chess with somebody.
For instance.
And it wound up as a stalemate, and it was really one of the best games y'all have ever played.
Good one. Good one.
Jordan, I don't know what you have to say about that. That's so strange. That you were there. You were there. You saw that I was beating myself. How many of you have a thing that you can identify? I'm not going to ask you to do it, but you could identify. Here's a thing that I am holding myself accountable for that I wish I could just let go of.
Oh, yes.
Everyone has a thing. Most of us have a thing. So let me do a little bit of an explanation as to why. And then, Maria, I'm designating you with the magic of this pen, spokesperson for the crowd. So if Maria, if while I'm talking about it, there's a thing you're like, yeah, but please speak that out on behalf of the people. I wanted to just experiment with a different way of going today. So, Maria, you all right with doing that?
Got it.
Okay. Theory 1 as to why we feel more guilt than forgiveness. Mathematically, now this is not satisfying, but it's there. Mathematically, we are in order to have forgiveness. A presupposition for forgiveness is you have to have guilt. There has to be some infraction. In order to get to the stage of forgiveness, there has to be some bad thing. There has to be something that is warranting the forgiveness. And therefore, mathematically, there have to be more guilt things than forgiveness things, because there can't be more forgiveness things than guilt things.
Yeah, forgiveness is a subset.
Thank you, Betsy. Go ahead, Maria. Yeah, that's why we...
Well, like I'm thinking there are some times when perhaps you didn't realize.
Correct.
And someone else tells you and you ask for forgiveness, but you didn't have the guilt.
It was there, but unnamed.
What to it?
Okay, it's okay.
But guilt serves a function that's important. It forces you to try to change your behavior.
Correct. Good. And the guilt is saying, I have done something that I don't like, and I wish to be a different way than what I'm doing. And that's theory number 2 as to why this happens. Let me see if I get this one right. No, that one's not making sense right now. Let me continue on, and if I can come back to that, I will. So just
I can chime in that I think sometimes that we are conditioned to not make mistakes, and if we make a mistake, that then we feel badly about that. But that the thing of it is that mistakes are a normal part of living, and that's how we learn. And so
yes. And wouldn't it be lovely if we could all the time say, oh my goodness, isn't it wonderful? I have just made a mistake. I have another learning opportunity. It would be lovely to do that. But unfortunately, often we get a little bogged down here before that happens. Yes, Eileen.
And that made me think of when you had to draw pictures, and if it was a first-time artist, you'd be a whole lot less critical than we are with ourselves.
Yeah. Guilt is what helps us to become the people we are. Our parents, our caregivers teach us and correct us when we're doing something that's not the right thing to do. And so we learn by being corrected, and then we learn to internalize those corrections. It was much easier for me to parent my children when they knew right from wrong and they internalized it. I didn't have to do as much. There's something, guilt has to be on the inside. Let me try this part. Let me switch to this part. The forgiveness. So it's easier to feel guilty than forgiven. There's something more magnetic about this guilt stance that we fall into than the forgiven stance. Let me explain a little bit about forgiveness. I heard some new definitions that have helped me. One, let me start with telling you what forgiveness is not. Forgiveness is not forgetting.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because if you forget it, there's nothing to forgive. Forgiveness is not forgetting. That's too wide. You might distance yourself from the hurt, but you're not forgetting that the hurt happened. You're not denying that the hurt happened. Also, it is not forgetting. Also, forgiveness is the state, and this doesn't tell you what forgiveness is, but it will tell us what forgiveness is not, is that forgiveness is not retribution.
Totally.
Forgiveness is the state of saying, I do not want to cause you the same harm that you caused me.
Right.
Forgiveness is saying, I don't want you to suffer, even though you might have been the one who caused me to suffer. And in this way, we can forgive, and that's where the not forget also comes in. So then what is forgiveness? Forgiveness is saying, I'm not going to forget what happened. I won't play regular Monopoly. I won't play regular Monopoly with Jane. Because I can't forget how she's a horrible she becomes someone who I don't even know who she is. She says evil things when we play. She does.
Precious.
I
My
love
precious.
her. But I'm like, okay, you want to trade? Let's trade. And she goes, no, you don't have, that's a bad deal. You're trying to screw me. I'm like, we've been married 25 years. I don't care about winning. I'm not trying to screw you. So I'm willing. So the last part of it is not forgetting that the pain happened so that you don't fall into the same place again. Not retribution. I don't want to do to you what you did to me. And it's that I want to continue to have a relationship with you. That forgiveness is saying, and it doesn't mean that the relationship is that we have to be best friends. But to have forgiveness is a willingness to say, I want to have continued time. I want to have a relationship with you. Your being with me is of importance in all the important things, yes. But in this thing, I'm gonna separate myself out. So that forgiveness is not forgetting, it's not retribution, and it's a desire to stay in relationship. Okay. Now, how's that work on the inside? If I'm feeling guilt because I played the game for 8 hours, or I'm feeling guilt, I'm feeling off because I didn't lock the door. Folks, I had a long talk with Larry about this yesterday, and I'm really hoping I'm able to convey what he and I came up with. And if not, I know will forgive me, but let me try this again. Guilt and forgiveness are one thing if we're talking about with regard to an outside person. I can forgive you for the thing that you did. You're outside of me. I'm not going to forget it. I'm not going to have retribution against you. I want to stay in relationship with you. Now, when it's on the inside, when this is just me on me, and I'm feeling guilty about playing the game, if I let myself feel guilty, this is not the best part of me. The best part of me is a loving part of me. And to stay in guilt is to cut myself off of relationship from the highest parts of me.
Can you say that again, please?
Yes, thank you. That if I'm in guilt and I stay in guilt, I'm not forgiving myself. And the part of me that's the most loving, the part of me that's the most divine, the part of me that's the noblest part of me, I've cut myself off from if I stay in guilt.
Okay.
If I stay in guilt, I'm not being as kind to myself as I could.
Or as kind to other people, usually.
I get it. Right. The other people, it starts to get a little bit weird when it's on the inside. So here's the card that I prepared for us. Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying blank. And this brings us back to the quotes at the start. Instead of saying I'm not good enough, I've started saying my inner perfectionist is noisy today. Instead of saying I haven't got time, I've started to say I'm experiencing a lot of inner urgency today. Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I shouldn't have played that game for 8 hours. Instead of saying I shouldn't have left the door unlocked. Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started to say, can you help me to fill in that blank?
I forgive myself for doing that thing.
Try not to do that.
Yeah. How do we fill that in? Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started to say,
it's not all that bad.
It's not all that bad. I've started saying I'm human. I've made a mistake. I want you to think if this were a what would you fill in if I called your name right now? I'm not going to. But if I were to call your name and I were to say, instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I'm going to start saying,
I'll try not to do that again.
Yeah, or how can I not? How can I do better?
How can I do? I want something that's a little bit more forgiving, a little bit more. Instead of saying I've been a lazy bum this last week, I've started saying it's winter. I'm not supposed to be that productive. Instead of saying I shouldn't have played that game for 8 hours, I've started saying, wow, I'm human. I get to learn. Wow, I'm human. I get to take breaks. Instead of saying, yes, Emily.
I made a mistake.
Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying I've made a mistake.
Mistakes can be corrected.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
How about admitting it was fun?
Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
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 Okay, Jess, what do you got? And then I'm going. Here's what I don't.
Say,
go ahead. We'll take Jess and then Al, and then we're going to break into small groups. And in small groups, I'm going to ask you to. I think instead has an A in it. Did I misspell instead?
Most of the time.
Yes.
Forgive yourself, Brian.
I was going to say, I made the best decision I could with the information I had at the time.
Instead of saying I shouldn't have done the thing, I've started saying I made the best decision I could with the information I had at the time. That sounds like a loving, forgiving thing. Al,
like that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, this all comes back to like the loving, unconditional higher power that I've discovered later in life. So instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying I love myself anyway.
Oh, gosh, damn it, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying I love myself anyhow.
Wow.
Can you imagine what your week would be next week if you could do that a few times? All right, we're going to break into small groups. Here's how it's going to go. Alex is going to open up small group rooms for 5 people. We are going to be in those groups for 6 minutes. For all of you who are worried that it will be too much time or not enough time, yes.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah, deal with it.
Yeah.
And I'd like you to go around your group and say this, and then give some comments about how this phrase would work for you. So go ahead into the small groups. Oh, Alex, if I go into a small group, my group gets recorded, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. So I'm going to take a look at I'm going to not join the room. Is the room that I would have been in have enough people? You need to move somebody?
Let's see.
And if you are on audio, you will probably get mushed into a room all by yourself.
You'd be in room 7, and it looks like there's 4 people in there. So
okay, I'm gonna go join them for a moment, and then see if they're all right being recorded. And if not, I'm gonna come back. Thank you, Alex. You have the timers going, correct?
I do.
We're on our
Time for everything.
Hey, folks, I need to interrupt for a second because just like shoot me a quick chat that says no, but you are being broadcast right now, and I can leave this room immediately. I just need one person to put a chat in that says no or say anything private, chat me, and I'll leave. Otherwise, I'd love to stay in this group, but I realized that it's an imposition. You didn't know your small group. It's just me. Just the picture of me is on the screen. And I'm going to take my leave at this point, and I thank you for your honesty and continue on. Okay, I got to leave. Hold on. I don't know how to leave. There I go. Bye. Leave room. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
They didn't want me.
They didn't want you.
Well,
okay.
I think they didn't want to be broadcasted. That's fine. So instead of saying, I shouldn't have done that, I started saying, did you have a favorite of what people said?
I missed what you said.
Do you have is there a way that you're, I liked what Al said, I'm going to love myself anyway.
I like the bit about winter, it being winter, your comment about that.
Yeah.
And I also kind of struggle with that a little bit because I am the snowplow driver at work.
Literally? Are you literally the snowplow driver?
Well, I do not drive a snowplow for real, but I'm the IT version of the snowplow driver.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and in wintertime, is there more IT to do?
There is. Well, we have basically I work on an incentive website for a company that I'm not allowed to mention, but if I did, everybody would know who it was.
Okay.
And they offer a holiday gift giveaway, and
yes. I've heard about this.
It's sort of culminating at this time of year,
and so you are the snowplow driver.
So I become the snowplow driver. This year, I'm going to say is actually not as bad as some years in the past.
Glad.
But I'm definitely, more than other years, I'm definitely feeling it's winter.
Yeah.
Can I take a nap now, please?
Yes. Hi, Charlene. Welcome back. Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I've started saying I put down Al's comment. That was the one that I like better than anything I had come up with. I've started saying I'm going to love myself anyway.
Well, I think that with respect to video game example in particular, I tend to kind of lean in favor of the group that says, "Did you have fun?" And if you did,
yeah, okay,
it
Alex,
wasn't a waste of time.
Have you played the game Baba Is You?
I have not.
I'm going to tell you, don't download it.
I'm not going to,
because it is. I know you, and I know your brain. It is a ridiculously clever. It is so insidiously brilliant. Part of the game is you have to change the rules while you play the game.
That sounds fun.
It's really horribly fun.
I have to look at this from the standpoint of like, okay, I still have a vintage Atari 2600.
That's the best, baby.
And occasionally I will dust that sucker off and plug it into the TV.
Yeah.
It still works. I have probably about 70 games that my mother collected back in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
And I can, I'm going to use air quotes here, waste a tremendous amount of time with this thing.
And do you do that? Do you say I shouldn't have done that thing, or you're kind enough to yourself to realize?
Well, what I've realized is this, which is, it was only a waste of time if I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, that's interesting.
If I was,
Well, okay, so hold on.
That was no fun.
Let me give a different example. Let's say I go to the DMV. And I know that I know better than going to the DMV right at lunch break. Like, I know better.
Right.
I can't say that I enjoyed going to the DMV at lunchtime. So instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, and I shouldn't have done that thing, that was stupid. I shouldn't have done that thing. I've started saying,
Well, see, I would argue, right? I would argue that sometimes the end justifies the means, right?
So, but I'm going to beat myself up. Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing. Come on, Brian, you know better than to go to, I know better than to go to the supermarket Sunday afternoon. I shouldn't do that thing.
But sometimes you just need some broccoli and you got to deal with, it.
It's good.
I think that sometimes the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this. I tend to look at it from a more practical, perspective.
You are a good engineered.
I admit, I'm not wearing it right now, but I definitely am a propeller head. So.
I think our peoples are coming back. So.
Yes.
Let me welcome back. Okay. Hi, welcome back. I hope there was good learning. Was there good learning in your small group?
Yeah.
Hi, Ray. Hi, Mason. Welcome back. Welcome back. Here comes the flood of people back.
Yay.
Hey. There's the flood of people who've just come back. So welcome back to the people. I put in the correct answer here.
Your correct answer.
Okay, do you guys not understand how religion works and how spokespeople for religion tell you what the right thing is? And then
I understand it all too well.
Do you guys not?
I accept that one.
Are we not? Okay, take what you like, leave the rest. So I went with Alex's comment is I'm going to love myself anyway. If I could get myself to do this next week, what a week it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Give me some, what's some ahas, what's some brilliance that came out of your small group? What I don't know what happened in your small groups. Is there something that happened that knocked your socks and you said, gosh darn it? Chad, you're nodding along. I'm going to, you have something to share or no?
Shmuley.
Chad and Lisa? No. I saw you nodding and I got the teacher in me excited for a moment. Okay.
There was one thing.
Go for it.
Project. We didn't know about that.
I got two voices at once, so let me start with Shmuley and then the other voice.
Okay, there was something that came up in our group. Carol brought it up, and it's about anti-Semitism, and it was like, how can I forgive the people who are trying to hurt other people? Because forgiveness, to be forgiven is you need to express or desire to be forgiven. That was the
okay. That is good, and we can get there. But I want to stick with, instead of saying I shouldn't have done that, so I want to stick with the internal things that we did wrong. There was the other voice that was following Shmuley's. Who's that?
Basically, what Shmuley said.
Okay.
Yeah. We were in the same group.
Okay, thanks, Lisa. Yeah, Patricia. Yeah.
I said, instead of saying what you said, I would say I allowed time for creative thinking or creative play. Or
instead of saying I shouldn't have done that, a little bit more acceptance, a little bit of self-kindness. So
particularly with your word game, I said, hey, it's creative. It's getting that part of your mind going. So
yeah. Ron.
Yeah, in our group, we said, yes, I made a mistake, and I'm going to learn from the mistake.
Instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, said I made a mistake. Oh my God, wouldn't that be so simple? To just say, oh, look at that. Oops. Oh, look at that. I made a mistake. No moral condemnation. Maria, I think that was where I went with the game, and you went with the locking the doors. We made it into moral issues where it's just, oh, look, I made a mistake. I went to the supermarket on a Sunday afternoon. I know better than that. Oh, look, I made a mistake. I went to DMV at lunchtime. Like, I made a mistake. So instead of saying I shouldn't have done that thing, I said I'm going to love myself anyway. And that gets towards this definition of forgiveness, that it's not retribution, it's not forgetting that the thing happened. It's saying I want to continue to have time in relationship with myself, even though I did this stupid thing. Stupid thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to love myself anyway.
I won't do, I made a mistake. I won't do that again.
Or if I do that again, because I probably will, I'm going to do something again. I'm going to practice and keep practicing being kind to myself.
Hello, Rabbi Brian.
Oh, hi, Margaret.
I made it today.
It's been a long time. Good to see you, honey.
Listening to this 8 hours of game playing. Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
How many hours of work do you put in every week?
That has no relevance on this whatsoever.
Our work ethic is unbelievable. We will kill ourselves working.
Yeah.
But we will not take time off to just enjoy relaxation. And I'm learning that dealing with a mother who has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I'm learning that I have to sit down and play 2 hours of my brain game every day.
You have to do it to right. Otherwise, what are we doing to ourselves?
Amen. Amen.
Can we all get an amen there? Sure.
Amen.
Thank you, Margaret.
I have to disappear again because I'm back and forth with her.
Yeah. Thank you. We're going to take a quick pivoty thing, and we're going to go to prayer time. Maria, I think you got prayer time today. Yes,
I do.
Would you?
I do.
And we're going to, Alex, if you would spotlight our friend Maria, so we can.
Okay. There we go. This is the list of names for this week for lifting up and sending positive energy to Tanya, Paris, Emma, Ken, Joe, Rita S., Abbas, and Marzia. And if there is someone else in our community that we can offer love and light to, please put their name in the chat and I will add them to the list.
Well, let's take a minute of time. We'll start right here at 40 seconds. Thank you all for that minute. And special prayers. Also, I'm going to add in our friend Kip, who he and his family got hit by COVID. They're doing all right, but yeah. Okay. Instead of saying, I shouldn't have done that, I'm instead this week going to say blank. Everyone has that for homework. I want you to take a moment, look at the screen, put it so that you can see somebody else. You can see another human here. And I want you to just pick one of the people. And there's nothing embarrassing to happen. You're not going to have to tell the person anything ever. But I want you to just pick one other person. And I want you just like zoom. You picked someone, stick with that person. That's your person. And I want you to think this week, when you have that moment of, I shouldn't have done that thing, I want you in your head to think of this person who you're looking at on the screen and think, what would that person say? What would that person say to me about this thing that I'm feeling guilt about? What would that person tell me? And just to keep it...
Fires are hot. Don't touch them.
Oh, Michael, that was an odd... It was kind of like Mad Libs there for a moment. You added in the end of a sentence that had nothing to do with the beginning of a sentence, which was kind of good. I want you to think about that other person and think, what would they say to you when you say, hey, I oughtn't have done that thing. And I just want to try the experiment of seeing what will happen if you have another person's image in your head. And my goal, my hope, is that you're going to see that other person and you're going to think, oh, they would tell me to just be kind to myself. I don't think it matters who you picked. Okay, that's homework. I have some announcements to make today. First, before I make the announcements, I'm going to take just a moment. Hold on, I'm going to do a share screen thing so I can see all of you at the same time as I'm saying this. I'm taking a little moment. This is unscheduled. Don't tell me because I didn't know that I was going to do this. But I'm going to take a moment and say, hot diggity dog, this is really this is a highlight of my week. And I'm so glad to share with all of you. And I was at a Board of Rabbis meeting this last week and I thought, God, I'm so delighted with the congregation that I have and that I get to be a part of. So thank you all for being that, because without you guys, it's kind of like I couldn't be a parent without having had a child. And I can't have a service without having you guys. So I'm taking a moment of just sheer utter delight and gratitude that this gets to be. I think about this all week long, and I want to take a moment while I'm in this part of the week to just acknowledge how joyous I am and happy. So thank you guys. Now I'll go to announcements. Announcements are going to look like this. There is a Shekinah group. If you like to talk about the word that's spelled G-O-D, please join the Shekinah group. You can put something in the chat. I know they have a meeting coming up tomorrow. And if you're on the Shekinah group, can you please monitor the chat at this exact moment so you can see who's there. I'm starting a new thing next week. It's called Show Up Early Club with Shmuley. I realized that at a regular service, people show up before the service starts and they hang out in the parking lot and they hang out and they start chatting with each other. So at half hour before the service starts, Shmuley's been kind enough to volunteer. Thank you, Shmuley. To host and to let people in and to just gather and chit chat a little bit. It's the Show Up Early Club with Shmuley, starting a half hour to 8 next week. Very important announcement. Hey, it's okay not to be okay. I'm going to say that again. It's okay to not be okay. That's really important. Fundraising is going on. Thank you all who have made donations. It's appreciated. It's how this continues on. And thank you for telling your friends about Religion Outside the Box. That's a wonderful thing as well. We're doing groups after this. We have a sharing care group, a deep dive group, a poetry room, and we're going to try yet again the Unresolved Issues with Bob group. So if you have unresolved issues, we had meant it particularly about religion, but heck, it's Bob. You got if you have unresolved issues with Bob.
I was going to point that out. That it doesn't have to be unresolved issues with me.
Yeah, I just realized that today for the first time as well. So we're all on the same place. Member spotlight. If you have not been spotlit on the Clubhouse, would you please? I'm going to put a link right now. Here we go. I'm going to put a link in the chat.
However, if someone has a problem with me, that's okay too.
here is the form. There, look in the chat right there. Right there. There's the form that you can fill out to become the featured member of the week. And we need somebody for 2 weeks from now. We just had Shmuley Spotlit and Marcus Spotlit, and to keep our schedule, we need somebody else. So no names, but Jack, hey, we want to know more about you. You're fascinating. Please, if anyone else, if you haven't been Spotlit, please, just so we get to know a little bit more about you in the clubhouse, to do that. That ends our announcements.
And Jack is fascinating.
Jack is fascinating. I would like to know more. Let me go back to there. I have one other quick topic that I can bring in. And I'm thinking about Kip, who's always saying, Brian, stop. You've given us enough already. Oh, go ahead, Maria.
No, stop.
Okay. So the last topic that I want to bring in is this.
Genug.
Enough.
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 Forget that one.
It's good enough.
Genug.
It's good enough. And I'm just going to spin on this for a half a moment, Maria. And Kip, if you're watching later, please forgive me. If it's enough and you can look at me, if you can look at me and you can say, Rabbi, you've done enough, and you expect me to believe it, I'm sure I'd have an easier time believing it if I knew you could do it too. That was pretty profound. Okay, good job, team. Enough. Okay, we're going to end this part of the service, so let me put on the little thing where everyone can see each other, and I'm going to ask you all to wave. Let's say goodbye to all the lurkers and the people who are watching afterwards, who are glad are watching.
Bye-bye.
People on Facebook. Bye, people.